Rob, you make the point that a food price surge may just be getting started out here in Asia. Look no further than Sri Lanka. And you and I have discussed this before for an extreme shock. And I guess that is the outlier. But just how profound and how destabilising could it be? And are the central banks of our region going to look through it, or do they have no choice but to react?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of warning signs that food prices could continue to surge from here, even though they're very elevated. One thing is Russia, Ukraine, a huge supplier of key foods, and there's big supply issues there. Two is fertilizers, right? The availability and price with a lag is going to have a big effect on agricultural production. And the third one is protectionism. For an individual country, it makes sense to do export bans and help the more vulnerable parts of society. But if a lot of countries do that, and they are doing that now, it further restricts food supply and pushes up prices. So I think food prices are going to continue to go up. And I think it's going to get more challenging for particularly low-income emerging markets, where food is the biggest part of consumption and the CPI basket. I think central banks are getting to the point where they can't look through it anymore. There's a big risk it starts to have second-round effects and feeds into inflation expectations. So I think in countries like India, in the Philippines, in Indonesia, we're going to see more aggressive rate hikes. And some of these central banks haven't even started yet. So I think there's a lot to come. I think governments can help by trying to provide subsidies for food and energy, but that is going to widen the fiscal balance. So it's a bit of monetary and fiscal policy that needs to be involved here. But I think ultimately there's some way to go in dealing with this food crisis.